Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode, actually the first episode to a brand new series. This is going to be Diablo 3. Now, this game has been out for a little while, but this is my first playthrough of it, other than back in the day when the demo first came out. Now, we have a few people on the call with us. Dark Dragon.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And you also have a few of your, you said they were cousins, right?
My nephews.
Nephews, okay, I apologize. And if you guys want to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you.
Hello, my name is... You can go first, Jake.
Alright, I'm Jake. You know, I played this game with my uncle for like 4 or 5, like a week. You know, pretty alright at it.
Don't forget to mention that you played it on the console for a while, too.
Oh, yes. And I have played it on the PlayStation 3, but the PC version's better.
And we also have...
And I'm Devin. I basically have been playing relatively the same amount as Jacob. I've played more on the console version. Pretty newbie at the computer version, but I'm getting used to it.
Now, we're on the character screen, guys, and I'm going to take you through each and every one of these characters, read a little bit about them. I'm not going to go too much into detail, and then we're going to hear from the experts, the guys who've been playing the game for a little while, and know a whole lot more about it than I do. And they're going to tell you, you know, what the class is, you know, the style of gameplay, things you might want to be aware of before you pick it, you know, in-game stuff, beginning stuff, things of that sort. So it's pretty easy. There's 6 classes here. You can be male or female. I'm going to go with male. That's just the characters I always tend to play. Now we're going to start at the top. You got Barbarian. Fairly cool-looking dude, actually. He's enormous, kind of disgusting in his little habits there, spitting to the ground. This warrior uses tremendous physical strength to crush foes. So obviously he's going to be your tank. He's going to be the guy that goes off in the front and just annihilates things, hopefully, or just takes the damage at least. Maybe not doing as much damage himself, but at least taking the damage. We also got Crusaders, who look really cool. I think I actually might go with this class. I don't think you could wear that much armor and still move around, but it's kind of interesting to look at it. You got a religious warrior committed to expunging evil from the world through discipline, honor, and unswerving vigilance. So, kind of sounds like a paladin, other than, I guess a Crusader. That is kind of the same thing. Let's go to Demon Hunter.
Just a different name.
You got ranged weapons and shadow multiplication make this vengeful hero an exclusive stalker of demons. So, I guess maybe your rogue, your range class, in the back doing the damage, maybe not taking the damage as much himself.
Yeah, you use a bow.
You got a monk, a holy warrior, who attacks faster than the eye can follow, disabling enemies with precision blows. So a little bit more in the tankage, but maybe not as much in getting hit if you can move around and zap around really quickly. You got the witch doctor. He forces of life and death. The shrivel caster wields the power of the spirits in astonishing ways. So I think this guy's a pet class. I think he actually summons...
It can be, yes.
Yeah, see, so he might be like the necro kind of thing in the furry, in the first one and the second one. And then the very last class is Wizard, a master of temporal and elemental energies, powering creations itself. And, you know, it's kind of straightforward. A wizard, probably a range class, using a lot of his spells. You can kind of see the video over on the far right. Now, I want to get you guys' opinion. Like, we'll start with the top one, Barbarian. What would you guys classify that at?
Well, in Diablo, it's not like EverQuest or World of Warcraft or games like that. All the classes are actually designed to be solo classes. They're self-sufficient. They can heal themselves, they can deal damage, and they can mitigate damage. It's just in the way that they do it. Like a Barbarian, the 2 main builds that people do with them is the Leap Earthquake build, where you just hop around doing earthquakes and leaving an area effect damage on the ground. Or there's the Whirlwind build, where you just fly through everything, spinning in a circle, and you can fight masses of things at once. I love doing Whirlwind build. But they're a pretty good class. They're good on damage, and they're like Crusaders, Barbarians, and Monks receive 30% less damage than the other classes.
And what do you guys think? What would you classify the Barbarian as?
I would have to classify it as, if you like close and personal, that's your choice. I'd go for that. But I mean, all in all, I'd say it's probably the best at close combat. So I personally like it.
I've really only played as a barbarian. On the console version, I played the Crusader. He was alright. But I really like the Barbarian for the up close and personal, like those massive swings that he does. It's really cool, feels really, really satisfying. So if you like up close and personal, you should really be a Barbarian.
That's cool. Sorry about that, guys. I went ahead and went into the options and lowered the volume down. This is, again, one of the first recordings, so if there is something wrong volume-wise, I actually lowered it down quite a bit, so you may not even be able to hear the sound. But I think that's going to be best for now until I can kind of tweak that, make that right. But we're going to move on to the next class, which is Crusader. Now, what would you guys say about Crusader class?
Crusaders are beasts. They are actually the #1 class for damage mitigation, and they play a little bit differently than the other classes. The other classes, you use your main attacks, like swinging a weapon to do damage. Them, it's popping off their big gun skills. The only reason they swing is to get their, not wrath. Their wrath built up so that they can pop off their big skills.
And what about you guys out there? Do you play Crusaders? Do you like them? What's the one thing that you would say somebody might want to know about before they start that one?
I've he said it just exactly how I would. It's pretty beast with the attacks it has are really powerful.
Sorry.
So it's pretty good.
Okay.
When I used it, I basically used a skill that you get. I don't remember what it's called, but you ride a horse, and I would just run around with the horse. It was pretty good.
Yeah, you can run through people and do damage, but I want to interrupt and also add in, they're the only class that can single-hand a two-handed weapon, and the bonus that they get with that is they can single-hand the two-handed weapon and use a shield.
Nice. And they look pretty freaking wicked, guys. I mean, I have to admit, that armor is pretty amazing. Like, I would wear that to the Renfest or something like that, if I could stand up in it. I think it would be way, way too heavy, but it's wicked looking. So we're going to move on to the next class, guys, which is Demon Hunter. Now, what would be the one defining characteristic of this class?
They use bows.
Primarily, or they get the skill to use other things as well?
That's what they use, is bows.
Well, that's
Or crossbow.
Oh, so they can use a combination of the two. They don't have to use just regular crossbows. They can use the longbow or something, right?
Well, they can either use a two-handed bow and a quiver, or they can dual-wield one-handed bows.
That's cool. And what would you guys say is something you might want to be aware of, like in-game, things that you kind of will change the character in ways that you didn't know that they were going to do?
For me, they kind of really don't take damage that well. They have to stay away,
Glass
or
cannon.
that it's
Right. So they're just
simple as
very,
that.
very fragile creatures. You don't really want to be in the front. So if you're looking for a class that can both deal out damage and attack and get hit, this is probably not the one for you then, right?
Well, no. On the damage part, they are overpowered with damage. With their speed of attack, it's incredible.
Right, but they can't do both. Like they're the DPS, but not anywhere. Like a monk, I'd imagine, which is actually the next class, guys. So we'll move on to that one. But the monk, I imagine, is probably one of those ones that can do both the DPS and actually take a little bit of damage. Usually, that's the role that they have in video games. But is that right, or?
I'm not going to get into monk yet till we get to them.
My thing with the Demon Hunter is because when I played on console, I was primarily a Demon Hunter. I love playing as a Demon Hunter. Their skills are really cool. But like Jake said, they can't take a hit for anything. You get hit and you're just like, really?
Right. So very, very weak as far as damage goes on themselves.
They're not super weak. It's just they're a little bit leaned towards damage and less towards damage mitigation.
Right, which is why I brought up the monk, which is next. Like I said, we can move on to that one now. But So do they take damage as well as dish it out? I mean, obviously not anywhere near as good as Crusader or Barbarian, I'd imagine, but damage-wise, I'm sure they can out-damage both of those.
Monks take 30% less damage from hits, just like Barbarians and Crusaders. They're also a little bit better for support, believe it or not. They have a lot of abilities that beef up their group, but they can dish out some serious damage.
That's kind of cool. I would have imagined the Crusader would have had more of those like buffs, like the Paladin in Diablo 2, but I guess they didn't go that route, or do they have spells like that?
They have skills for the group, but I would say that Crusaders are more about eradicating demons, which is weird because you figure a demon hunter would be that way, but
Right. So what do you guys? You have anything to add on the monk? Any little tidbits that people might want to know in game?
They're pretty quick with their punches. They use like it's kind of like Knuckles kind of thing, which is pretty much really
Fist
cool.
weapons.
You can dual wield them. So and they punch. Their effects are pretty nice as well for the punches.
Okay, so I think that's gonna be cool. I don't know if I'm gonna play a monk, but they're pretty enticing. I think I might try that. I don't know. We'll have to see. We got Witch Doctor here, guys. Now, what would you say is one of the ways you can play Witch Doctor?
Pets galore.
Nice.
There's multiple builds that you can do for Witch Doctors. There's one where it's seriously OP damage. But then the main one that people normally do is you do kind of a crowd control / pet master build. And you just swarm the enemy with tons and tons of pets.
That's cool. I always loved that back in the day, playing the Necro, or I think they had the Druid there for a while during one of the expansions, where you could have like the wolves or something. What are the pets in this one? Can you give it a little hints, without spoiling it too much?
Oh, real quick, demon hunters get pets as well. They get wolves, spiders, crows, and all that, but they don't have as many pets as a witch doctor. But witch doctors, they get their, as I like to call them, their demon dogs. They get gargantuan, and they get fetishes.
Cool. And what do you guys say? What do you think of the demon or the witch doctor?
I've never actually played one personally. I mean, I got into it, but I really didn't tamper with it as much. I mean, I played it till it was like level 30, and then I just stopped. So I'm really not the best person to ask about that.
Well, I mean, you played it and you didn't care for it too much. What were some of the downsides to it? What was the thing that didn't interest you as much?
For me, I don't know about anyone else, but it took a while to build it up to have good strength. To keep its I don't know what its energy is called.
Mana.
But yeah. For me, I just couldn't really use it. I'm not that type of player. I'm more like up close, personal, or like strong DPS. I kind of like that.
Right. And you were gonna say, man? Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you though.
No, it's fine. I played a little bit with the Witch Doctor. Its beginning is rough because its starter weapon is really, really slow. And if you're soloing, it's just like a nightmare.
Right.
Yeah, the pets and stuff are cool, but I don't know. I'm more of damage, but also support, that's what the Witch Doctor is. But it just didn't really
fit
home
for
with
you.
Me. Yeah.
That's one of the things.
The next one.
It's one of the things about this class or the game, guys. You gotta find the character that fits for you, and you may go through several of them before you do. That's kind of like why we're giving you a little bit of information on it. Hopefully, let you make a informed decision before you get to like level 30 and have to restart all over again. Although that really doesn't take that long, from what I hear, if you're being powered through it. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to pick one here in a minute, but. Go ahead,
it's
man.
also more than just the class, it's the build that you do, because there's multiple builds that you can do with each class, because you can get legendary and set legendary gear that totally change the way the character plays.
So that'd be interesting to try some of that stuff out. We also have the very last class here, guys, which is Wizard. And I don't know why, but he kind of looks like Loki from the Avenger movies, doesn't he? I mean, he's like straight out of that movie there. So what would you guys have to say about this guy?
I love it to bits.
So high DPS is what I'm imagining?
It can get there, but really good with crowd control.
Yeah, I gave him a build that does really serious crowd control, but it also does really good damage. I named it my face melter build, because when you switch from crowd control to damage, everything just melts. It's pretty good. It's fun.
He looks pretty wicked, man. What are some of the primary spells people can expect to use when you're using this guy?
Well, the wizards use elemental magic, so they use cold, fire, arcane, earth, etc.
Is there one in particular that you guys would suggest at the beginning and maybe one at the end to kind of build towards?
I personally concentrated on arcane damage because they have, it's like a laser beam, it's called Disintegrate, but there's also a rune that you can use on it, Chaos Nexus. So when you're using that one beam, anything in a range around you gets a separate beam that hits them at the same time, so you can hit serious amounts of targets all at the same time.
That's cool. There is a couple buttons down here on the bottom, guys. Now, I'm playing in October 2015, so there has been at least one expansion out, and at some point I'm sure they're going to come out with more, so these buttons may change around. But for now, we have Hardcore, and we have Seasonal Hero. Now, could you guys give us a brief description on what exactly do both of those mean?
Hardcore is if you die, you're dead, your character's gone, period.
Wow. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, and it can get really rough. That's a totally different gameplay than normal. The seasonal, actually, you want to make sure to check that because we're going to be playing seasonal. What seasonal is it's different than the normal game. Well, it's technically same, but it's separate. And they just have seasons where every season you start from scratch. You have to build everything up, like all your artisans and everything. You get a zero stash and no gear and all that, no money. And then you build it up. But the seasonal, you get extra legendary drops, you get extra gold, and there's certain items that you can only get through seasonal.
But do you lose all that stuff when you start the next season?
I was just about to get that.
Oh, sorry, man. Go ahead.
It's all right. I had to take a breath. When the season ends, anything your character is holding, not your stash. So at the end of the season, anything you want to keep, make sure to pull it from your stash and put it on your character. But at the end of the season, it swaps your character over to normal.
Oh, okay, so you get to keep your character as well, so that's kind of cool.
And the other bonus is any Paragon experience that you've received during seasonal gets added to your normal Paragon XP.
Nice. So we'll have to go into that and see how that works. Now, how long does the seasons usually last? Is it like summer, fall, winter, that kind of season?
Well, this one's been going on over 4 months, so...
It's kind of weird there, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. Now, the class that I'm kind of drawn towards, mainly for the fact that I'm going to be doing commentary, and sometimes when things get hectic, commentary can kind of fall back, and my brain doesn't work as well because I'm doing multiple things. So picking a class that has pets seems to be pretty nice, because then I can let the pets, kind of take care of me when I get overwhelmed. I'm kind of drawn towards either the Demon Hunter or the Witch Doctor. And I know you're going to play the Witch Doctor, right?
Yep, and it doesn't matter if all 4 of us are playing Pet Master Witch Doctors. The way the game rolls, it's all good whatever way you go.
So we don't have to compete over loot or anything if we're playing the same class?
No, everything that you see that drops on the ground is yours. It is a completely separate loot system for each person playing.
Oh, that's cool. Can I trade you the stuff that drops when I pick it up if it happens to be something that you can use?
Yes, there are normal items that are white/gray. Then there are blue, which are magical. Then there's yellow, which is stronger magical. And then there's brown and green. The brown are legendary items, and the green are legendary set items. Those are the best in the game.
Well, I think if you guys don't mind, then I'll go with Witch Doctor, because they look pretty cool, and I like the fact that they got pets. I think that'd be a good first class to ease me into it. And since you guys said we can go different builds, maybe that's how we can change your characters around. You'll go one build, and then I'll go whatever the exact opposite of that build is and try it out and see how that works.
That might not work with the Uber DPS Witch Doctor build. That's kind of a solo setup, but we can go pets and you can change up later on. It's not a big deal. But one thing I do want to point out is legendary and legendary set items, if they drop in a group, you have 2 hours that you can trade with anybody that was in the group when it dropped. After that 2 hours, whoever has that item, it becomes account bound forever. You can't trade it anymore.
So it popped up with a little message when you hit the start button saying seasonal. It gives you a little description, basically what they just said a minute ago. And if you hit the start button, it says select a game mode, campaign or adventure. Now, which one would you guys suggest?
Now, here's the point where I'm going to invite you into a party. You should see the notice on the bottom right now.
There you are. Hit the little check mark. It's going to zap me out of here.
It's going to just pull you over into mine. Do you see the rest of us now?
I do, but do I close this little box down?
What box?
This the one that's saying campaign or adventure?
Yes.
No, I can't actually close it. I got to select one and hit continue.
Just hit the escape button.
Let me see if that works. Nope, that does not work. It wants me to pick one. Which one should I pick?
Well, hit campaign and then hit save and close, not start.
Okay, save and close. I do not see save and close. Oh, I see you guys in here now. Right? That's you guys, right?
Yep.
Okay, so how do we...
Okay, so I'm going to transfer the leadership over to you. So you are the party leader.
And what is that going to do for us?
Well, that means you're the one that determines what game mode we go in and what level we go into. That way the people that are watching can see how it works. We're going to do campaign mode so people can see the storyline. So over on the left in that window that you have open, you want to have the top one checked or highlighted. And then over on the right, you'll see a button for changing the game difficulty.
No, I don't see any of that stuff you're talking about. It says the Fallen Star campaign, Act 1, normal, private game. You guys are unable to play. Seasonal heroes. Okay, I get that. Game settings? I mean...
over on the right side.
View progress? I mean, that's all I got over there.
Hold on. Devin?
Yeah?
You're not on seasonal.
I'm not?
No.
My bad.
Nah, that's alright, man. So, apparently, if you don't have all seasonal, you can't start the game then, right?
Right, because they're kind of different modes, just like hardcore and normal.
Well, I guess it was
trying to play a red server on EQ with a blue server.
Right.
I guess it was a good thing that I didn't do that, so you guys can explain that too, that it won't work unless everyone is in seasonal.
Yes.
Okay,
See?
so
All for the best.
Act 1, normal, private game. Now the button says start, so should I hit that?
Okay, hold on. Over on the right side, up on the top, you should see the difficulty area.
No, on the top right I see seasonal.
No,
If you go into games.
in the box, not like in the background screen.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean by in the box. On the screen somewhere, right?
Yeah, you should see, it should say like normal for the difficulty that it is now.
Yeah.
There should be a button right next to normal where you can click it and up the difficulty level.
No, just private game, start game, game settings. Game settings, maybe?
Yeah, game settings.
Okay, and I want to... Let's see, go back. We don't want to change that. We want to change the difficulty, okay? So we want to go to what, expert?
Now, I'm just going to have you do this so that people can see. If you look at how there's a list, it's normal, hard, difficult, and everything. And then there should be a little arrow to the right. You can click that arrow and it'll show you the even higher difficulties.
Right, there's master and then torment.
Yep, and there's torment 10 that we can go up to.
Oh,
So
you're right, yeah, holy crap.
It gets really difficult. So what I want you to do is I want you to set it on the highest difficulty it'll allow us to do. I think it's
Expert.
hard or expert.
And expert, you just have to see if we can get that little message to pop up. Actually, it won't show us. Basically, master is the next one. It says difficulty is locked until you complete Act 1V. What is that, 5 or 6? I don't know,
4.
Roman number 4? Okay, there you go. With at
Yeah.
least one hero. So we're going to go with Expert and see how that works out.
And before you hit anything, notice how it says that there's an XP modifier and a loot modifier and all that. The higher difficulty you go, and you're gone.
Am I?
Oh
Still
no, Jake disappeared.
Oh, he's switching on his
Ah.
character, isn't he?
No,
No,
he's offline.
Oh, okay. So, you guys want to
What?
wait until you get back? I mean, we can end the video here anyways because it's about 30 minutes. And on the next one, guys, we're gonna go ahead and start the game. We're gonna, show you the very first level and the intro and all that goes with it. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this video. It's just been a little bit of information on the character creation, on what you might want to expect, how to start the game with friends, because it is kind of intimidating to come into a game that you don't know anything about and join somebody and kind of look like the noob. So I don't mind doing it for you guys, and that way we can work out the details and you guys can come in looking like experts even though it's your very first time. Again, guys, if you do enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. Definitely helps grow the channel, and we both greatly appreciate it. Again, guys, we have Dark Dragon. If you guys want to say a little something before we head out.
I hope to see you guys in the next video.
I hope to be in the next video.
I hope to have fun.
And again,
Yeah.
guys, we will all catch you next time.